Yeah, Connell, it's good to be with you, but under horrible circumstances.
Yeah.
I think about Charlie's family. I think about his children. I think about the great debt of gratitude that the conservative movement has towards him because he has done so much, especially in terms of igniting young people and their voices. And this horrible person who carried this out, whoever it might be, should get the death penalty. This was horrific. It was in front of a massive crowd. People had to watch this before their very eyes. And it would be horrible to happen to anybody, but especially somebody like Charlie Kirk, who's really given much of his life to this movement, is just a severe tragedy. And that person, whomever it is, should be held accountable to the highest extent possible.
You know, can I talk about or talk with you about something that came up earlier, but we could dive deeper into it because there's definitely, yes, Charlie Kirk was influential. Chris Tyrwald and others have said, you know, perhaps behind Donald Trump, one of the more influential conservatives out there today, right? But particularly and especially with younger people. And we saw that in polls, we saw that in election results, and even more so than young people with young men and the movements that we've seen in recent years. So can you speak to that at all and to the why there
Yeah.
and where that influence came from?
So I think Charlie Kirk was an incredibly bright and intelligent person who also had biblical core values. And I think that is what young people are hungry for, particularly young men, as you mentioned. And that's why these campus tours were so popular, because in college, I'm a college student, it's woke ideology at every corner. And then you have somebody like Charlie Kirk who says, hey, I hear you. I listen to what's going on. And what you're hearing is a load of BS. And so it's encouraging to see somebody like him. He gives us hope that there's going to be a brighter tomorrow. And I think that's why he resonates with so many people and was really influential in the last election. I also think about the events that he does outside of campuses, like the Student Action Summit, where I was just a few weeks ago in Tampa, Florida, rallying thousands and thousands of students from across the country. So he has a way with young people. He is very, very popular amongst them and very, very influential and impactful. He can get people out, he can get them passionate, and he can educate them so that they can make more informed decisions. I think that's what we've seen over and over again. As the president noted, he's a remarkable person and his loss is huge.
So the one thing that stood out, I was listening to everything you said, Jackson, is that you said he hears you, like that you felt like you were heard. So as a young, you know, male, as a conservative in America, what do you mean by that? That like other people, you know, that you didn't feel heard, that you felt like you were ignored by other groups, like you felt
Sure.
heard?
Yeah, I mean, I think largely we felt heard because he would reflect on some of the same thoughts we would have. We're hearing all of these things that we totally disagree with. Everybody's too scared to say how they're actually feeling. And to hear somebody like Charlie stand up and say, hey, listen, what they're telling you is wrong. It's inaccurate. This is the right way. That was very encouraging because at a time where things are so tense and people are so passionate, it was a breath of fresh air to hear Charlie's take on things, because oftentimes when you agreed with him, it was like that calming force that, oh, maybe I'm not crazy like everybody says I am, and maybe there is something to my thought, that perhaps what the world is telling me and what the left is telling me is not so bad.
You know, like I said it earlier, if you're listening, to like you know, putting things in context and making historical comparisons in real time in the moment. I think for me at least are hard to do. Sometimes I have to think about it a little bit. That said, you know, what are you thinking about today? Like, are you do you feel like the things you believe in, and you're a young conservative guy, are going to be more and more prominent? That you're going to work harder at the causes? Are you discouraged? Are you afraid? I mean, like, what types of feelings do you have?
I think we can't be afraid. I think we have to stand up and we have to fight back, just as President Trump did in Butler, Pennsylvania, after a similar incident happened to him. I am very saddened, though, by this news. I mean, Charlie has young children. He was an extraordinary man. His staff were some of the nicest people, and I think that's a reflection of him. I had a chance to work with them a little bit over the summer and talk with them, and everybody on his team, including himself, is so gracious with their time. And I think that that is due to his leadership style. So I'm sad. I'm a little
Yeah.
discouraged, obviously, under these
Would you
circumstances, but more than ever, I'm passionate. I'm ready to get back to work, and it makes me want to fight all the more harder.
So if somebody organized an event like this on a college campus, you would still go?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, because earlier I heard a witness, and like I said, at the moment, I understand what he was thinking. You know, a guy who was there says, I don't know. I never went to a political event before. I don't know if I'll go to another one again.
We got
He
to
was,
stand back up. We can't be afraid forever, Connell. We can't go around wondering if things are going to happen. I understand there's risks and bad things can happen, but we've got to show a force. We've got to put on prominent display that nobody can take us down, okay? You can try and do whatever you want to do, but at the end of the day, we're going to still be standing. There is a massive movement that's been curated by Charlie, and that will continue to live on. I think it's a great legacy.
Thank you, Jackson. Representing and you know, the feelings of many young conservatives today who are obviously in mourning. Thanks for coming on. Now I want to go back to
Thanks, Connell.